My friends, listen closely. What if I told you that right now there is a simple, natural red powder sitting on health store shelves that acts faster on your blood flow than almost anything else we see in nature? If you are waking up without that morning energy, or if you feel that spark fading in the bedroom, please do not scroll past this. You might be ignoring the single easiest switch to flip your vitality back on. As a doctor, I see men suffering in silence every single day, thinking their best years are behind them. They aren't. But if you don't know about this specific blood flow booster, you are missing out on the confidence that is rightfully yours. Let's talk about the science urologists wish everyone knew. Now, why are we talking about this? Because erection health is not just about sex. It is the barometer of your total body health. It is your check engine light. Let's sit down and really look at what is happening inside your body, because there is a myth out there that breaks my heart every time I hear it. It is the myth that says, "Doc, I'm just getting older, this is just how it is." You look in the mirror, you see a few gray hairs, you feel that morning fatigue, and when things aren't working in the bedroom the way they used to, you write it off as the inevitable decline of age. I am here to tell you that is wrong. It is not your age that is the enemy. It is your circulation. And the good news is, circulation is something we can fix. To understand this, we have to look at the highway system of your body. You have miles and miles of blood vessels, from the major arteries pumping out of your heart to the tiniest microscopic capillaries that feed your eyes, your brain, and your reproductive system. When you were 20 years old, those highways were wide open. They were flexible. They were elastic. Your blood could rush through them like a roaring river, delivering oxygen and nutrients instantly to wherever they were needed. That is why you had energy. That is why you recovered fast. That is why you were ready for intimacy at a moment's notice. But over time, life happens. And by life, I mean stress, processed foods, high sugar, and inflammation. Think of your blood vessels like a high-quality garden hose. When that hose is brand new, it's soft and flexible. But if you leave it out in the sun, if you drive over it, if you neglect it, the rubber gets stiff. It gets hard. And eventually, you get a kink in that hose. Now, you can turn the faucet on as hard as you want, meaning your heart is pumping hard. But if there is a kink in the hose, only a tiny trickle of water comes out the other end. That is exactly what is happening to many of you. It is not that you have lost your manhood. It is that you have a mechanical kink in the hose caused by constriction. In the medical world, we look at the endothelium. That is the thin, smart lining on the inside of your blood vessels. Its job is to tell the vessel to relax and open up. But when we are constantly stressed, our bodies pump out cortisol. Cortisol is a survival hormone, and it tells your blood vessels to tighten up to preserve pressure. When you combine chronic stress with a diet that causes inflammation, what we call the sticky blood factor, your endothelium stops working correctly. It stops sending the open signal. The vessel stays tight, rigid, and narrow. Now, here is the part that urologists wish every man understood. The blood vessels in your reproductive organs are some of the smallest in the body. They are tiny. So when your circulation starts to suffer, when that plaque builds up or that stiffness sets in, it shows up there first. It is the canary in the coal mine. It is your body's check engine light flashing bright red. When you ignore erection problems, you aren't just ignoring your sex life. You are ignoring a warning sign that your heart and your brain are also struggling to get the flow they need. This is why you feel that brain fog in the afternoon. It is why you feel winded going up the stairs. It's all the same system. I know this can feel heavy. I know that when circulation drops, your confidence drops with it. You might feel disconnected from your partner, or you might find yourself avoiding intimacy because you are afraid of failure. That fear creates more stress, which creates more constriction, and you get stuck in a vicious cycle. But I want you to take a deep breath and realize that this is not a character flaw. This is a plumbing issue. And just like we can clear a pipe or unkink a hose, we can rehabilitate your blood vessels. we can restore that elasticity. By understanding that the root cause is circulation, we stop blaming the calendar and we start taking action on our cardiovascular health. When your blood flow is restricted down there, it means your heart, your brain, and your muscles are starving for oxygen too. We aren't just fixing a moment, we are fixing your life. We are talking about reclaiming the vibrant, energetic man you were meant to be. So we have identified the problem, that tight, constricted garden hose that is stopping the flow, but now we need to talk about the solution. And this is where the magic really happens. This is where we turn science into a miracle for your daily life. I want to introduce you to the powerhouse behind better erections and better heart health. And it all comes down to a specific molecule called nitric oxide. If you remember nothing else from today, remember those two words, nitric oxide. In the medical community, we call this the spark of life. It was actually the discovery of this molecule's effect on the cardiovascular system that won the Nobel Prize in Medicine back in 1998. That is how important it is. Here is the simple truth. Your body cannot produce an erection without nitric oxide. It is the chemical messenger, the text message that your brain sends to your blood vessels saying, "Relax, open up, let the blood in." When you are young, your body produces this gas abundantly. You have a full tank of it. But as we age, our natural production drops significantly, sometimes by as much as 50% by the time we hit our 40s or 50s. When your tank is empty, it doesn't matter how stimulated you are. The signal doesn't get through. The door stays locked. This is where the red powder comes in. I am talking about concentrated beetroot powder. You might wonder, why beets? Why not an apple or a steak? Because nature has packed beetroots with an incredibly high concentration of inorganic nitrates. When you take a scoop of this powder and mix it with water, you are essentially drinking liquid fuel for your blood vessels. The moment that liquid hits your tongue, a fascinating chemical reaction begins. The healthy bacteria in your mouth, and this is why we don't want to use harsh antiseptic mouthwash right before this, convert those nitrates into nitrites. Then, as it hits your stomach and enters your bloodstream, it converts into that precious nitric oxide. The reason urologists and doctors like myself are so excited about the powder form specifically is because of speed and potency. If you tried to eat enough whole beets to get this effect, you would have to eat a massive plateful, and your body would have to spend hours breaking down the fiber to extract the nutrients. Who has time for that right before intimacy or a workout? When you use a high-quality extract powder, the work is already done for you. It is bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it almost instantly. Within minutes, that nitric oxide levels in your blood spike. What happens next is beautiful physiology. The nitric oxide rushes to that endothelium lining we talked about and flips the switch. Suddenly, the smooth muscle surrounding your arteries relaxes. The vessel walls widen. We call this vasodilation. Remember that kinked hose? This effectively unkinks it. The pressure drops, the resistance disappears, and oxygen-rich blood floods into the microvessels of the penis. This isn't magic, it is pure mechanics. And the best part is that it is doing the same thing for your heart and your brain. I also want to clarify something important about how this compares to the little blue pills you see advertised everywhere. Those medications work by stopping the enzyme that kills an erection, effectively propping the door open. But they don't create the erection. They don't build the house. Nitric oxide builds the house. It initiates the process. Many men find that those medications don't even work well if their nitric oxide levels are too low, because you can't prop open a door that never opened in the first place. By using beetroot powder, you are restoring the natural foundation of your sexual health. You are giving your body the raw materials it is begging for, so that it can function exactly the way it was designed to. You aren't forcing your body to do something unnatural. You are simply refilling the tank so the engine can roar back to life. Now that you understand the science, we have to talk about execution, because knowledge without action is just trivia. I don't want you to just watch this video, nod your head, and go back to the same routine that got you here. I want to give you a specific, actionable blueprint that you can start tomorrow morning. This isn't just about taking a supplement, this is about building a ritual. A ritual signals to your brain and your body that you are prioritizing yourself again. We call this the vascular victory morning, and it is simpler than you think, but the details matter tremendously. Let's walk through the specific recipe, because how you mix this powder determines how well it works. I want you to go to your kitchen and take that scoop of organic beetroot powder. Now, before you just toss it into tap water, I'm going to give you a doctor's secret that amplifies the potency. I want you to add a squeeze of fresh lemon juice or a small supplement of vitamin C. Here is why. Nitric oxide is a somewhat unstable molecule. It degrades quickly in the body, but vitamin C acts as a bodyguard. It increases the bioavailability of the nitric oxide and helps it stay active in your system longer. By adding that splash of acidity, you are chemically upgrading that drink from a simple vegetable juice to a high-performance vascular fuel. Once you drink this, and I recommend doing it on an empty stomach for faster absorption, you have a critical 30-minute window. This is where most men make a mistake. They drink the healthy powder and then they go sit on the couch or sit in their car to drive to work. That is a wasted opportunity. You have unlocked the doors with the powder, but now you need to push them open. I want you to pair this drink with movement. It doesn't have to be an intense CrossFit session or a marathon run. It can be a brisk 20-minute walk around the block, a light jog, or a basic gym session. Think of it this way. The beetroot powder is the key that unlocks the stiff, rusty hinges on your blood vessels. But your heart rate, your movement, is the hand that pushes the door wide open. When you exercise about 30 minutes after taking the powder, your heart starts pumping harder, and because the vessels are dilated from the nitric oxide, that blood is able to reach deep into the capillaries that were previously starved. You are physically forcing oxygenation into the tissues of the penis, the brain, and the heart muscles. You are retraining your body to accept flow. You will feel the difference. You might feel a better pump in your muscles. You will feel more awake. And yes, you will start to notice that things are waking up down below because the blood is finally getting where it needs to go. Finally, we have to talk about the most important ingredient of all, which you cannot buy in a store: consistency. We live in a world that sells quick fixes and overnight miracles. This is not that. This is biology. If you do this once, you might feel a little better. But if you do this every single day for 30 days, you transform your physiology. You are conditioning your endothelium, that smart lining of the blood vessels, to work correctly again. You are teaching your body a new baseline. So please do not try this for 3 days and say, "Doc, nothing happened." Give your body the respect of time. Commit to this morning ritual as if your vitality depends on it because, truthfully, it does. My friends, I want you to know something deep in your heart. Your body is resilient. It is designed to heal. It is designed to perform. Do not accept getting older as an excuse for giving up. You have the power to change your biochemistry with what you put in your body. Every time you drink that glass, you are telling your body, "I value you. I am ready for more." Don't wait for someday. Your health is happening right now. Go get that red powder, clear those vessels, and reclaim your spark. You've got this, and I'm right here cheering you on. I'm Dr. Sophia. Let's get healthy together.